Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into episode 3 of Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. I'm your host, TB, aka Tim Beersley, and this is the only place where you can hear talk about the Buffalo Bills, the sports and the trading card world, and the spectacle that is professional wrestling. I can't thank you enough for being here. If this is your first time, I encourage you to go back, check out episode 1. If you've already listened to that in episode 2, well, thank you again for tuning in. So today, we have a lot to talk about this episode. I am absolutely itching to dive into what happened at the last WWE pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, especially after my last episode, episode 2, where I talked on and on about R-Truth for about 15 minutes, but we're going to put that to the side for a minute. We need to start with the tailgating portion of the program this week. I didn't want to do it. I really didn't, but it seems he has left me with no choice. The topic to start, none other than number 4, James Cook. So, Bills Mafia, how are we feeling? Now, this story involving Cook has been going on for quite some time. And I didn't want to talk about it. I've tried my best to ignore it, but it seems like things are getting progressively worse. So I thought maybe we should look at the whole timeline of this mess and see if we can figure out some sort of a solution. So I'm a problem solver. I like to try and solve things. So maybe I can come up with a completely made up, completely fictitious, completely ridiculous way of dealing with the James Cook contract issue. It's fun. I had a good time coming up with this on my commute to work. So let's dive in. Now, let's look at the timeline. So the rumblings began all the way back in February. If you remember, the Super Bowl just concluded. It was the Eagles and who was that team they played? Oh yeah, the Chiefs. They got steamrolled. It was glorious. I didn't like either team, but you know, when the Chiefs are playing in the Super Bowl, you got to root for whoever it takes to beat the crap out of them. And lucky for us, the Chiefs got rolled. So suddenly after the game, James Cook is on the Instagram, the Insta, as the kids are calling it, and he pinned his own tweet that said 15 mil per year. That's all. That was the whole tweet. He then goes on a talk show with Shannon Sharp. He goes on this podcast with them and he doubles down on the tweet and he says something to the effect of, "Feed me the big bucks. I just want to get what I deserve." So let's break that down. I just want to get what I deserve. Come on, dude. What are we doing? So fast forward to the beginning of the spring. Bills general manager Brandon Beane comes out and says, yeah, it's no secret. It's no surprise. He makes a comment about how his agent, Cook's agent, and Beane have already talked. They've already tried to get a deal done. And lo and behold, nothing worked out. Big surprise to all involved. But then he says he can't see a deal getting done anytime soon. So it's kind of put on the back burner. The Buffalo Bills turn their attention to the draft. Time goes on, and we don't hear anything. No new news about a contract. Meanwhile, all these other guys on the team are getting re-upped, re-signed, except Cook. And he's kind of sitting off, pouting on the side. So now here comes OTAs, and of course, Cook is a no-show. Now, I'm not one to kind of, throw my hands up and yell and scream about people that don't show up to OTAs. If they're voluntary, in my opinion, then you can't expect people to show up. My thing has always been, talk to me when the mandatory stuff comes around. Talk to me when mini camp hits. Talk to me when training camp hits, etc. Is he there when he absolutely needs to be there? And then the weekend happens, and NFL guru to the stars, good old Shefty, Adam Schefter, goes on his own podcast, and he claims Cook is, quote, disconnected. He says he's disconnected from the team and the city. Now, it's one thing to be disconnected from the team, but then to go on and say he's disconnected from the city. And he basically says we won't be seeing him in Buffalo anytime soon. I'm not really sure what to make of this. It's a little crazy if you ask me. The fact that now I think there's a rumor that he put his house up for sale, yada, yada, yada. So all this stuff about he's disconnected from the team and the city. Great. So here we are. And as a huge Bills fan, a member of the Mafia, it puts us in a tough spot. Trying to think rationally. I'm trying to see both sides of this. I can always see the player's side, especially when they're a running back. Now, historically, running backs, their life in the NFL is usually pretty short. They have a very short shelf life. So I'm never going to sit here and begrudge a player who is trying to make the most they can, the most money they can in such a short time frame. But there's also the team side to this. So this is a team that was what? We were in the AFC Championship. We were literally, 3.5 minutes from the Super Bowl? 3.5 minutes from making the Super Bowl. The offense this year, if you compare it to last year, very similar. In fact, I think we might be slightly better. We'll go with slightly better. If not, we're the same as last year. We had a darn good offense. So I think the offense this year is looking like it's going to be just as good, if not slightly better than last year. And then here's your main running back. He's putting all this crap out there for the world to see, and he's asking for $15 million a year. A $15 million a year running back in the NFL is bonkers. I mean, it's straight bonkers. There are only 3 running backs in the entire league that make this kind of money. Number 1, Derrick Henry. Now, he just signed a 2-year extension, paying him $15 million a year. $15 million a year, Derrick Henry. Are we good with that? How we feel about that? He's 31 years old. Now, if you ask me, this cat can play until he's probably 75 years old because this dude is a total freak of nature. He's out training. He's carrying like refrigerators. He's pulling tanks. He's doing this in the most insane workouts you've ever seen. Like if you've never seen a Travis Henry, geez, there's my Bills fandom right there. We're not going to re-sign Travis Henry. We're talking about Derrick Henry. If you've never seen a Derrick Henry workout video, Google it. But he's doing crazy things. So congrats, Derrick. You're the man. I'll give you that. You're ridiculous. Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is making $19 million a year. 19. Now, how's that working out? 49ers, how we feel about that? If you're a 49ers fan, are you happy with signing McCaffrey? $19 million a year? The team kind of fell apart last year. When he's on the field, he's electric. When he's healthy, he's amazing. But is he ever on the field? This kind of goes back to the Joey Bosa conversation from last week. Is this dude ever on the field? He seems to be hurt all the time. So $19 million a year, I'm not sure that's that great of an idea. And then last but not least, of course, we have Saquon Barkley. Just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. And his deal averages out to be around $20.5 million a year. $20.5 mil Saquon. Don't get me wrong. The dude is a complete stud. He's a beast. I have never in my life seen a grown man jump backwards over another man before. That was one of the craziest highlights I've ever seen in the NFL. Awesome clip. But is a running back in the NFL worth $20.5 million a year? I'm not too sure about that. So, good old number 4, James Cook. He wants to be in that top tier group. I will be the first to say Cook is good. He is good, but he's not that good. Let's break down last year's stats. He scored 18 tutties, 16 of them were rushing, and 2 receiving. Now, is there anyone on the planet, anyone at all, that thinks he can replicate that? That is a ton of touchdowns. A ton. And a lot of that is just based on circumstance. So if I were a betting man, I would bet the way under. So I am not on the list of people who think this is a repeatable task. Even if I did think he could repeat 16 rushing, 2 receiving touchdowns, $15 million a year is not going to work. It's just not going to work. We're already in a cap situation with some of the huge contracts we have on this team. And with the cap, it's just not going to fit. As a fan, you're in this weird position because you want your team to sign good players. And I think James Cook is a good player, but is he a good player worth 15? I can't say he is. So you feel like you're in this spot where there's really nothing you can do and you're kind of just waiting around and seeing what happens. But that's where I come in. What if there was, in fact, something we could do as fans? What if I come up with a completely new way to pay for his contract? In a closed-door meeting, I'm going to present this brand new off-the-wall scenario to our commish, your commish, my commish, everyone's favorite commish, Roger Goodell. I'm going to lay out a brand new type of contract tag. So everybody knows we have the franchise tag, right? Teams use that. It's usually it's a 1-year sticker, 1-year label they throw on players, kind of buys them some time. And then they also have the transition tag. And if you polled 100 NFL fans, no one would know what the hell a transition tag is, but it's there. It's randomly, seldomly used. Nobody knows what it is, but I got a proposal for Goodell. I'm going to come up with a third tag. This is called the crowdsourced tag, or CST. Don't confuse it with CTE, but CST, the crowdsourced tag. Now, in my awesome creation, the crowdsourced tag allows each team to designate one player on the roster who will not fall under the salary cap nor count against a 53-man roster. So check this out. This is what I came up with. This one player will be paid in full solely off the backs of this team's season ticket holders. So I'm a season ticket holder. I'm part of this. I'm opening up my wallet, and I am going to be part of this crowdsourced tag. How is it going to work? In this example, for example, let's just look at the James Cook scenario. Your brand new Bills Stadium opening in the fall, kicking off 2026 season. It's going to have 62,000 seats in it. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. We're going to talk about this stadium in another episode. But for the sake of time, let's say all 62,000 of those seats are filled with season ticket holders. So they are actually on the hook for this contract. So Mafia members, season ticket holders, you really want a player? Time to pony up the cash. Cook wants a deal paying him $15 million. Guess what, peeps? I divided it up. It's real simple. Your cut, you owe $241.93. What do we think so far? $241.93 grand total. Now, New York State, everyone knows the taxes are absolutely through the roof. So let's just round it up to $250. We'll go off nice even numbers here. We'll call it even. So how do we feel? How do we feel about that? $250. For those that say they want Cook on the team, this is your golden opportunity. I think it's brilliant. I love this. I love this proposal. I think Goodell's going to love it. I think you're going to love it too. So here you go. You fork over $250 and you convince the other 61,999 season ticket holders to do the same, and he's signed under this brand new crowdsource tag. What do we think? Now, I came up with some rules because we can't have total chaos. We can't have anarchy in this world. We can't, this ain't WWE. So we have to have rules. We have to have structure. Now, here's some rules I came up with. Every team, you get one crowdsourced tag per year. But here's the thing. It needs to be a player who's worth something, right? You can't assign it to a player who has a contract under $10 million. Why? Because the fan needs to be invested. They need to feel a little bit. They need to feel a little bit of this pain, right? Investment. It's all about investment. So we can't go asking season ticket holders to shell out $1.75 in order to bring back the punter, Sam Martin. That's not what I'm talking about. No one cares about that. That's not going to make or break your team. No. This is for top tier talent only. Also, rule number 2, in this awesome plan I came up with, rule number 2, it has to be agreed upon by majority vote of the season ticket pool, the season ticket holder pool. So you can't have one trillionaire fan agree to cover everyone's share, right? That would be ridiculous. He can't come in, or she can't come in and save the day and pick up everyone's $250 tab. That's not what I'm talking about. You have to agree that every season ticket holder is going to take part in this. So as a season ticket holder, here's what we do. We add a clause to your ticket contract stating that you are now on the hook for this brand new crowdsourced contract should the majority of the season ticket holders vote yes. Failure to do so means you're in violation of your contract and you get cast into the sun. No, I don't know. I've tried to add some fun to this, but everyone has to take part. It's kind of an all or nothing proposition. So you get a majority vote, and then everyone's on the hook for their share of the contract. Look, the way I see it, Goodell, the NFL, they're always clamoring and screaming and yelling for they want more interaction. They're always taking our money, no matter which way we look, no matter how we slice it. So let's keep pushing this. Let's see how far we can take it. One player per year, paid in total by the fans, and ownership Terry Pagula, sorry, you got no say. If we want James Cook, we're paying for James Cook. Now, I also came up with some interesting ways to pay for this because like I said, these ideas, when I'm driving to work, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. My mind tends to wander. So I came up with some options, some ways to pay for this. Now, obviously, option number one, cash is king, right? So you pony up to $250. That's easy. That's super simple. Another option. Now, for this deal, we're looking at Cook. And like I said, it comes out to be about $250 is the cost of about one game ticket. Now, don't come at me with, well, that's not accurate. There's some seats that are way more, some seats, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. For the purpose of this scenario, every seat in the stadium is going to cost around $250. So the second way of paying for this contract is for one extremely meaningful home game. That's right. Check my words. Extremely meaningful home game. You have to sell your seat to the opposing team's fan base. So here you go. Sunday, November 2nd, 4:25 in the afternoon kickoff, Orchard Park, nationally televised game against the bleeping Kansas City Chiefs. Picture this. You turn on the TV and the entire stadium in Orchard Park, Highmark Stadium, is filled with Chiefs fans. Not one Bills fan is allowed in the stadium. We are forced to sit and watch this game at home on our couch watching TV. We are not allowed in the stadium. This is how we can pay for this contract. So we turn on the game. We're watching our Bills. Everyone's happy. The camera zooms in to see James Cook, and guess who's smiling from ear to ear? He's happy. He got paid. He is loving life with his $15 million. He got exactly what we want. He got exactly what he wanted based off our crowd source tag. I think it's brilliant. And so the camera zooms in. Then they put that little stat line under his name. He thinks he's had a great game because he just got paid. And it says 12 carries, 60 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Oh, but there's a fumble. It was returned to the house. Kansas City scores. They win the game. Bills lose. What do you think, Mafia? Who's in for this awesome scenario? Who's in? Who's with me? No? Hey, look, I'm just trying to have some fun. That's the whole point of this thing. It just puts this into perspective that this whole contract nonsense is just ridiculous. And frankly, I hate talking about it, but can you imagine? Can you imagine being allowed as a fan base to basically pay for one player? I mean, the possibilities are endless. Now, if you tell me Justin Jefferson's available and I can do this for Justin Jefferson and now I'm on the hook for 2 home games or $500, I might reconsider. I might be totally on board with this scenario and I would say, whatever it takes, let's go. So if anyone ever hears or gets wind that this idea is coming down from Goodell's office, well, you know where you heard it first, folks, right here on the 3T podcast with your boy TB. So anyway, I better get some credit for this awesome idea. All right, let's switch it up. Wrestling fans, you are on the hook. You are up next. How are we feeling after Money in the Bank? Now, if you're a wrestling fan, if you have yet to watch the show, the Money in the Bank show, it was Saturday. There's going to be a few spoilers here. So if you haven't watched the show, maybe jump ahead 5 minutes or so, but I'm diving in. So here we go. As I said at the beginning, last episode 2 of the podcast, I dove into R-Truth. I talked about the drama surrounding his contract, saying it was a bad move, and I kind of laid out why and how important he is in the world of the WWE and the world of professional wrestling. Well, folks, as Truth himself would say, you got. Lo and behold, the backstage uprising, the crowd chants, the online outrage, everything that was going on behind the scenes with this whole R-Truth contract fiasco. I'd like to think that it started some sort of R-Truth revolution, and the powers that be kind of came to their senses, recognized the errors of their ways, and decided, whoa, we better listen, we better get this guy re-signed. Is that what really happened, or did I just get worked? I have no idea, but you know what? At the end of Money in the Bank, the very last 3 minutes of the show, during the tag team match that had John Cena and Logan Paul teaming up to face Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, there was a big schmozzola, a big schmoz fest, and all of a sudden a hooded figure wearing a black sweatshirt runs into the ring, smashes Cena with his own belt. The sweatshirt hood gets removed, and it's none other than ya boy, R-Truth. He runs off, the good guys win. That's that. Pay-per-view's over. The place goes nuts. Yeah, I got played. I hope I didn't get played, but I feel like I got played. But anyway, where this goes from here, who the heck knows? But WWE, you got me. Well done. Well done. I applaud you. It was quite the ending. The place went absolutely bonkers. Everyone was super happy. Now, WWE, the ball's back in your court. You better use this. Do not let me down. Pay off this story in a good, positive way. Fix the Cena mess that you've created, because it's been a fiasco since the Elimination Chamber and the greatest heel turn since Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Don't screw this up. You have to fix this mess. So now the match itself, the tag team match, it wasn't the greatest match, but there were some good points, like the Logan Paul moonsault from the turnbuckle to the announce table, or was it the right near the turnbuckle? He was like on the second rope. It was a thing of beauty. It was freaking awesome. If you haven't seen it, check it out. That was probably the high point of the match. Side note, real quick, because I have to say this. Jey Uso, I don't know what is going on with Jey Uso. I get it. He has a huge following. The place goes nuts. The entrance is awesome. The music is great. He looks good. Everyone's doing the yeet chant. It's 5 minutes, and then it's repeated, and then it's another 5 minutes. And I've been an Uso fan for a while, but I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this title run. I got to say, I don't want to be negative. But can someone please teach the champion, Jey Uso, to actually put a sleeper hold on the right way? I'm watching this match. He applies the sleeper hold, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Your hands look terrible. Like, you wouldn't even tap out a 4-year-old if you put this lock on. So what is going on? Someone has to tell this guy how to put on a sleeper hold, for the love of God. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about the rest of the show. The show started out with a banger. The women's Money in the Bank match. Ladies, hats off, applause, encore. You freaking crushed it. That match was sick. Now, in the future, I want to do an episode just talking about the state of women's wrestling. But in that match, in that very ring, you had 6 of the absolute top major players in the state of women's wrestling. And it was great. It was great. Everyone played their role perfectly. There were some 6 spots. You have so much talent that is fresh, that is new, mixing with some of the women that have been there for a little bit. The match goes on. Naomi pulls off the victory. I was super excited to see her win. Can't wait to see where it goes. I love the new work she's doing. I love the new attitude. And I'm hopeful that she takes the briefcase, uses the gimmick, and kind of tapes it all up. Her thing is proceed with caution. I love that line. It's awesome. It's an awesome tagline. She needs to literally take the briefcase and wrap that thing up with yellow caution tape. I think it would look sick. The more, the better. Make it look like it's a freaking crime scene, and that would be great. It would be so cool. Like I said, there were some absolute sick spots in that match. They did some crazy, dangerous spots, crazy stuff. It worked great, and they crushed it. They did. At one point, there was a dual code reds off the ladders. It looked sick. And then, of course, the crowd going absolutely bonkers for Stephanie Vakir when she hits her signature devil's kiss on Rhea Ripley on top of a ladder. I mean, the place was going bonkers. She is an absolute star in the making. All in all, can't say it enough. That was a great freaking match. The man, Becky Lynch, one of my favorites. It was so good to see her reclaim gold. That match was great. Great match against Lyra Valkyria. I wasn't a huge fan of the finish. It just seems weird that they're trading match endings back and forth, roll-ups, and she grabbed her tights, and I'm like, what? After that match you just put on, why are we doing that stupid finisher? But I did appreciate the post-match shenanigans. I thought they were well done. So Becky wins, so she forces Valkyria to raise her arm, and then she makes her parade her around the ring, making sure she showcases her as the winner to each side of the arena. I thought it was great. And then finally, at one point, Valkyria has enough and just drops her, lays her out. Really good stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then we get to the men's Money in the Bank match. Now, there were some weird players in this one. It started a bit slow. The match started slow. The first 10 minutes or so was kind of, just whatever. And then the last stretch was pure, absolute chaos, and it was great. A couple things that stood out. Tip of the cap to Solo Sikoa. I have not been the biggest fan of his. I got to be honest. I think his character has been getting stale. I think it's been getting old. I was getting kind of tired of it. But if he can keep tapping into what he did in this match, he was going around mocking everyone, joking, doing little dances, doing this bad guy act, doing funny bits, and just mocking the other wrestlers. It was hilarious. Him mocking Penta with his signature, the 3-finger thing in the air, and just mocking him, and then doing the LA Knight thing. It was awesome. And I was just rolling watching Solo's facial expressions and what he was doing during the match. It was gold. Now the match goes on. It gets to be chaotic. Tons of outside interference. We see the legal team of Braun and Bronson, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. We see them come down, of course, because they're Seth's goons. We see Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo, the newest and 18th, 20th member of the Bloodline. Jacob does some great stuff. He finally sets up his feud with Solo, screams out, "I hate you, Solo." It's just great, great stuff. And then, of course, the match ends with ultimately Seth freaking Rollins grabbing the case, winning the Money in the Bank. Again, the last time he had the briefcase, it was one of the coolest cash-ins. It was great. Great moment. Him cashing in at WrestleMania. Awesome to see. I was actually hoping for El Grande Americano to win, but you know what? I will take it. The match was good. It was a fun time. All in all, at the end of the day, and that's really all I can ask for when I watch these shows, is if I'm going to sit down and invest 3 to 4 hours on a PLE, I hate calling them freaking PLEs. I call them pay-per-views. I've always called them pay-per-views. But if I have to invest 3 to 4 hours in a pay-per-view, all I can ask for is that I feel like it was time well spent and that I had a good time. So that's all I can ask for. But there's one issue, one thing I want to talk about, and I feel it's getting worse and worse. What the heck is going on with all the freaking sponsorships? I mean, I'm watching this pay-per-view, and it looks like WWE has lost their damn minds. At one point, I get a text from my son. He texts me, and I look at it. He's watching the show, and the text says, "These rings are turning into NASCARs with all these ads." He's absolutely right. The ring canvas is literally covered with sponsors all over the mat. At a certain point in the Money in the Bank match, the men's match, they kind of alluded and hinted at this earlier in the show, but at some point in the match, El Grande Americano pulls out a 15-foot ladder that is covered in advertising from Fireball Whiskey. It's the Fireball Whiskey ladder. And everyone's like, oh, and they just keep rambling on and on about Fireball Whiskey. And I'm like, what the hell are we doing? I thought we were watching a wrestling show, and the ring is plastered in advertising, and there's a literal sponsorship gimmick in the middle of one of the main matches of the pay-per-view. And it's just getting ridiculous. Am I the only one that thinks this is absolutely ridiculous? I think it's a damn shame, really. I mean, according to everyone in the wrestling community, WWE, all the marketing, they are raking in money. Ticket sales have never been better. They're selling like hotcakes. Merch sales are through the roof. TV deals are crazy. They just signed a how many $billion deal with Netflix, and they go to have their shows over in Saudi Arabia, and they get paid out the ass for that stuff. And it's just like, they're making so much money. Do they really need to cover the ring with all these freaking sponsorships. I wish they were scholarships. If they were scholarships, I'd be all on board. Hey, the kids in the back row of the arena, you get a scholarship. Okay, great. But no, they're literally covered in sponsorships. That's how upset I am. It makes no sense to me. No sense at all. It's distracting. It's stupid. And the fact that they're literally reading ads in the middle of a match about a Fireball whiskey ladder is kind of ridiculous. So we'll see how this thing plays out moving forward. I have no hope that it will ever get better. But anyway, it was a good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. The briefcases are now in the hands of their rightful owners, temporarily at least, and we shall see what happens. It's always a fun time trying to guess when they're going to cash in. So Naomi, Seth Rollins, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank winners. Tip of the cap to everyone who participated in that show. And finally, last but not least, let's talk collecting. So how are we feeling, cardboard enthusiasts? There are a ton of products that are either coming out this week, have just come out. Lots of stuff on the horizon. Lots of stuff to spend your money on, product after product. So we have 2024 Panini Contenders, Optic. I believe this is a first off the line product. We have the regular Panini Contenders football. We got Select Basketball first off the line. I'm just reading from a website. We have Topps Chrome Basketball. Now I know this is another unlicensed NBA product until Fanatics and Topps gets the rights to it. And then, of course, we talked about it last episode. We have 2025 Topps Series 2 Baseball. Now, the baseball Topps Series 2 comes out Wednesday, but I've already seen people posting videos and product reviews on YouTube of product openings, things like that. And so I watched a video of a jumbo box opening. It's exactly what I expected. Now, again, as I discussed, flagship product is Series 1, Series 2, and updates. So the design of the main base cards is going to be exactly the same. So it looks exactly, the cards look exactly like Series 1, which is fine. Wasn't a huge fan of the product during Series 1. Not a huge fan of the design. It's okay. It's fine. It's whatever. I will say there are a couple of insert cards that I do think are pretty cool. I think they're probably way overproduced, but the OPS leader card inserts, I like those. The Summer Superstar cards, they're kind of cool. I think they're flashy. I think they pop. Like I said, they're probably massively overproduced, but other than that, and my personal favorite from 2025 Series 1, the 90s throwback cards, I love these freaking cards. I hit a James Wood 90s throwback rookie auto. I love that card. I want to collect the entire set of the 90s inserts. I think those are badass. But the rest of the series, I was like, and it's exactly right. I'm watching this guy and he's talking up these rookies as he's hitting them, and it's one name after another, and I'm like, these guys are all trash, so I don't know what we're getting excited about. But it's just like I said last week, rookie pitcher after rookie pitcher after rookie pitcher that no one cares about, that no one has ever heard of, and really, there's no good chase in this product. So I actually might be passing on Series 2, which is disappointing. Or what I have found historically, looking back through the years, is once we get through this initial rush, you're going to see the price of the product drop way down. So this time next year, if you're interested in going back and putting the set together or something like that, you're going to be able to find hobby boxes, jumbo boxes, stuff like that. You're going to be able to find it for way cheaper than it's currently going for now. Now, there's a couple other products, non-sport stuff, that I thought was kind of cool. Panini's actually releasing a Rolling Stones, the band Rolling Stones card set, and it looks pretty cool. But what I want to do every week, I want to have a new segment that is called If Money Were No Object, Buy of the Week. So basically, if I could buy anything I wanted, what would I spend my money on? Well, I found it this week. It is awesome. It is the Rambo Keepsake Collection Premier Edition. Now, if you get a chance, look this card set up. It is pretty damn cool, right? For the low price of $160, you get one enclosed relic card. Now, a relic could be something pertaining to Rambo 1, Rambo 2, or Rambo 3. You get a 5-card pack, probably base cards, and then you get a card that's encased in like a stand. And I looked through kind of the checklist, maybe sort of. I'm not sure what I was looking at, but there's relic cards, there's storyboard cards. These look awesome. They're almost like these hand-drawn cards that kind of lay out different themes and different scenes in the movie. They look sweet. And then they have these prop cards, which look awesome. So if money were no object, what would I buy this week? I would buy the Rambo Keepsake Collection Premier Edition for $159.95. Coming soon. I think it comes out this week. It looks awesome. I'm super excited for that. Will I buy it in reality? No, but like I said, if money were no object, that's what I would dive into. So yeah. Now, I want to finish up this episode by talking about something that kind of bothered me this week. I want to talk about the type of collectors there are out there. I'm seeing more and more videos on social media and the internet that, how can I say this nicely? They don't portray us in a very favorable or positive light. In fact, they make us look like a bunch of morons. And it's pretty disappointing. I'm not talking about the type of collector you are, whether you're a baseball guy, football guy, Pokemon guy. I'm just talking about how you choose to go about collecting. Now, some people stay at home and they order their stuff online. They go to eBay, they buy singles, they do this, they do that. They get stuff directly through Topps or Panini or, some of the distributor companies, Dave & Adams, Blowout Cards, etc. Other people choose to go the retail route. So maybe they're a little lower end. They can't afford some of the higher priced products. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's completely fine. But then there's this third beast that's kind of making the rounds on the socials. And it's pretty bad. These are the videos of these morons, these absolute morons who are literally going to a retail store and taking the entire stock. Scalpers, call them whatever you will. I don't care what you want to call them. They're freaking tool bags, and it's pissing me off. Now, we can get into an argument over supply and demand, and, well, they're just out to make a buck, and then no, they're taking the product. Instead of buying what a normal human being would buy and get a box or two, and maybe you're taking it home, you're opening it for yourself, or you're giving it to your kids, or whatever the case may be, you're literally buying. I saw a video of a guy buying like 90 some boxes of a Pokemon product at a Costco. He literally took almost the entire pallet of stuff, and it's a joke, and he's laughing about it. And I'm seeing other videos of grown men butting in front of children and filling carts and their arms and with product. And it's kind of pathetic, and it's very frustrating to me. I never experienced this, 40 years ago or 35 years ago when I was a kid. But I can't even imagine that if I was a kid trying to shop and I save up money and I want to go buy something at the store, I want to buy a pack of Pokemon cards or a new football box, and I save up, and look, stuff is freaking expensive, right? So you have to save up a lot of money. And you go and you're waiting because the product's going to be released on a certain day. And you get there and the store is filled with these overgrown, overweight buffoons who can't figure out what day of the week it is and how to tie their shoes. And they look ridiculous. I'll give you an example. I don't live in a very big town, so I have one Walmart. And the one Walmart is literally the only retail establishment that stocks trading cards. And they are terrible at this, by the way. Terrible. But every time I go in there, I know exactly where the cards are. It's pretty close to the main entrance. And it's pretty much in the middle of everything. So you walk in and you take a quick right and you peek down the aisle and you can see, hey, is there anything in the aisle? Is there not? Is it empty? And you go about your business. It takes me 3 seconds. So I go in there to shop to get, I had like 2 or 3 things that I needed to get. So I park, I walk in, I'm like, oh, let me just walk real quick by aisle, the trading card aisle. And as I'm approaching the aisle, I see this ginormous man, grown man, probably in his early 40s, maybe mid 40s. I don't know, somewhere around there. It's hard to say. And he's leaning on a shopping cart. He is probably anywhere between 330 to 350 pounds. He's wearing a huge, bulky hoodie, and he's wearing basketball shorts and just nasty sneakers. And he's crouched over the handle of the shopping cart on his phone, and he's at the end of the aisle. So he's essentially blocking the aisle. No one can get in or out of this aisle. And I look down the aisle, and I see an older lady who's an employee of the store, and she has a cart that's full of merchandise, unshelved merchandise, or unboxed. So she's opening the boxes. She's stocking the shelf is what she's doing. And this nasty dude is literally just hovering over her, ready to pounce. It was so weird. And what is going on, right? This lady was very small in stature, and she has all these boxes to put out. And this dude is just like leering and waiting and being like up in her personal space, waiting to get essentially what I can only guess are newly stocked card releases. And so I basically shake my head in disgust, go about my business, pick up my couple items. I'm not gone 3 minutes. I come back to this same spot, and there's two more losers that have now joined him in the line behind him. Now, one's skinny and all disheveled looking, and the third one is just, a combo of Laurel and Hardy, right? So, three very upstanding citizens. I'm sure they're lovely people, and they're just like, it's like watching the Nature Channel, and you see the lion stalking the prey, the gazelle, and what's coming, and the gazelle's gonna get got. Go back to our truth. The gazelle's going to get destroyed. And it's like, and it immediately brought me back to the videos I was seeing on social media. And I'm like, what are we doing, folks? What are we doing? Can we let the lady do her job? Can we be kind to people out in public? Can we not take 99 Pokemon products at the same time and then take them home and try to sell them for 10 times what they're worth? Can we just be decent to each other? Because here's the problem, right? We are already up against it. I love card collecting. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Like, this is a passion of mine. This is a hobby of mine, but there's already some kind of negative connotations, if you know what I mean, when it is related to this field, right or wrong. That's just the way it is. We don't need to contribute to that. I know there are a ton of good people, good human beings in the hobby space, but at the same time, these losers, these dirtbags are not helping to forward the positivity that I think we can do as a hobby. And this is where I wish, like we talked about last week, some of the WWE releases. This would be the perfect place for Walmart to hire Braun Strowman, who just got released from his wrestling contract. He can be right next to the old lady stocking the shelf, and when this dirtbag shows up, he can literally like power slam the guy into the freaking parking lot. I would pay to see that. I would pay to see Braun Strowman power slam, drive, do that train thing he does, the locomotion thing where he runs around the ring and just plows the guy through the barricade. I would love to see him do that and plow this big 350-pound sloppy mess into the cosmetic section. I think that would be hilarious. So that's what I would like to propose to the WWE. Before you release these guys, send them to local card establishments, send them to Costco, send them to Target, send them to Walmart. Put them on the hip of your card stocking employee and protect them at all costs, because they are the gatekeepers. And these gatekeepers need to look out for the kids. Get the kids the products. Stop with this nonsense. Stop with the scalping. You look like a bunch of morons, and you're not helping the hobby. Okay? Can we try that? Can we try that at least? I know I'm going to come down off my soapbox, but that's what I see. That story and the things I'm seeing on socials, it kind of pisses me off. So I wanted to leave you with that, but I'm going to wrap it up there. This is the third episode of Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. If you've enjoyed this episode or any episode of the 3Ts podcast, please do me a favor. Share it with someone you know, whether they are a fellow Bills Mafia member, a card collector, or someone who you know just loves wrestling. It doesn't matter. I want to grow this thing one episode at a time. So please help me out. Hit that follow button, hit the like, whatever podcast device you're listening on or platform you're listening on. Hit me up with a follow, leave a quick review. Let's try to build this thing together. I appreciate you all very, very much. So until next time, whether it's ripping packs, breaking tables, or dropping elbows, keep doing what you love. And as always, go Bills.